Where's the behavioral specialist? So I emailed back this morning and I asked for her cell phone number.
Oh, you're not getting that. What's
I just figured I would ask.
Okay, I love your courage, bravery, and your attempt. I mean, you're swinging for the fences. Give me this lady's cell phone number.
Well, I just said when he's having a meltdown, can I please have your cell phone number so I can call you to help? I just figured if I don't ask, then I don't know.
No, and that's right. I actually meant to go back and listen and see if you can hear our neighbor's 2 new puppies that bark incessantly in the backyard on the podcast, because I can hear them right now barking.
I feel like someone needs to call the police. That's how bad it is. I mean, it's freezing outside. We think it's freezing. It's like 58 degrees. I feel bad about calling the police, but I think someone needs to just stop by and talk to him. Like, it's almost just like, hey, are the dogs okay? Like, why did you buy 2? He did get 2, right? 2 puppies.
Why did you buy 2 puppies and they're outside like most of the day and they're not happy? That's not like awful. A good life for a puppy. You know?
It's sad.
Yeah, it's sad. Like, they miss their mom and they miss their buddies, and now you just put them outside and they bark all day.
I mean, we have a 4-year-old golden retriever, and if we put him outside, he's going to bark.
I was talking to our neighbor yesterday, and he like pretty much works from home, right? Ever since the pandemic. So he did he built an office and everything. So he's working from home, doing conference calls and stuff. I saw him yesterday and I'm like, dude, the dogs. He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm trying to figure out, like, do other people hear these dogs coming through the conference call? I'm like, well, I'm sure we can hear them through our walls, you know?
It's awful.
It's terrible. And I was sitting, I was hitting record and I looked over at the screen and I was trying to see if the mics were picking up the dog barking. And I'm like, geez, it's crazy.
It's terribly annoying.
Yeah. Cal yesterday, day before yesterday, it was Sunday. He was in the room right by the pool, so it's the glass, and he could hear the dogs, and he was going woof, 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 like mimicking the dogs.
Oh my gosh!
And I'm like, God, why do we hear these dogs inside all the time? These dogs. I almost thought about, we have a neighborhood Facebook page posting free dogs, and then writing somewhere between this street and that street. You'll see them barking outside. Just grab them and take them.
Oh, my gosh.
And give them a great home, please. And keep them inside. They obviously want to be inside.
Aw.
That's horrible.
It is horrible.
I feel bad for these dogs.
You should post
I'll do something. Yeah, I think I'll post something today. It's been 2 weeks, I think.
Nonstop.
Don't you think 2 or 3 weeks?
It's been 2 weeks.
We've been very patient.
Yeah, it has to stop.
It has to, and I do feel bad. I'm really saying I feel bad for these dogs.
I do too.
Yeah, it's not really fair. All right, so Cal's ABA therapist, you wanted to talk about. She sent an email to his school. Now, he goes to a public school. He's in an ESC program. They call this the ESC program?
Well, yes, but he's in an ASD class.
An ASD class of the ESE program,
right,
with an IEP.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I think most schools, all schools have an ESE program, but not all schools have an ASD program.
Yeah, I'm learning because, I'm thinking about running for the Pinellas County School Board, and I'm learning all of these codes and this vernacular and this way of talking with all of these codes. And what I realized is they create all these things. At the end of the day, this is a special needs program. I watch the candidates. They'll do like these little speeches and talks and roundtables and stuff. And they use all these codes and everything. And people don't really understand what that is.
I didn't even understand it until I got in it.
And it's a lot of times, that's why the candidates are having a really hard time connecting with real people, the actual voting people, because they use this political talk. This is all political talk, these codes and stuff. This is created by those people. And I'm like, well, it's just a special needs program. He's a special needs student. And you're not going to offend families by saying that.
No.
Yeah, it's okay.
Like if you're offended by that, like I don't understand that, because this is our life.
I'm like, you know what? Dumb it down for me. Dumb it down for me so we can communicate effectively and quickly. You know what I mean? Because we have a lot on our plate.
Yes.
All of these codes and these special, whatever. Like, I'm really kind of getting tired. And they come up with a new one every year. There's a new code. There's a new abbreviation. There's a new vernacular. It's like, God, it's getting kind of annoying for everybody.
Right.
So anyway, so his therapist sends an email. This was what I would call, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being stern. This was a 7.
Well, I like it.
Yeah, no, this is great. But, his therapist was like, look, he needs a little more guidance with transitioning. And what's your all's plan, right?
Yeah, so the behavioral specialist at the school emailed back with me and Lauren on it. And that's the first time I've heard from her in 2 years. This is his second year at the school. And I've never heard from her before. So she emailed back and just said, we'll work on transition, whatever.
Have you met
how
her?
they were going to do it.
Do you know what she looks like?
No, I have no idea who she is, which is a little surprising for an autistic kid,
Well, 2
in
years.
a public school.
Yeah. Now, in fairness, she is the only one. She is over probably leveraged with so much stuff, right?
She is the only one, and she is dealing with typical kids too.
Right.
But when my kid's having a meltdown at the gate and tons of people can't help me, where's the behavioral specialist? So I emailed back this morning and I asked for her cell phone number.
Oh, you're not getting that. What's
I just figured I would ask.
Okay, I love your courage, bravery, and your attempt. I mean, you're swinging for the fences. Give me this lady's cell phone number.
Well, I just said when he's having a meltdown, can I please have your cell phone number so I can call you to help? So I just figured if I don't ask, then I don't know.
No, and that's right. And you're thinking that you can, while he's having a meltdown, you can dispatch her.
Yes.
Like you would call, 911 during an issue to come. They would dispatch the officer to come and help the situation.
Right.
You want to dispatch her to the situation and see if she can offer some assistance.
Yes, because if she's just in the teacher's lounge having coffee, and I need help.
Oh boy. So, but you're adding that in. You don't know that that's what
I don't know that that's what she's
doing. But
doing.
that would make the story even better. While all these meltdowns are happening, that she is in there enjoying a cup of coffee.
Yeah, I need help.
Yeah, that's good. My gut is that that's not what's happening.
I know.
If we were able to find some footage where that is what's happening, that would be hilarious. And I mean hilarious in a very tragic way. You've got these parents, you've got meltdowns, temper tantrums, and she's in there in the teacher's lounge watching Good Morning America with a cup of Dunkin'. It just,
what's really happening? I don't know. I don't know that that's what she's doing. I'm just saying I need help, and where is she?
This is painful now that I think about it.
So she wanted me to have him transition into class with a toy. Like we were talking about before, positive reinforcement, bribery, basically. In regular terms. So I try to send him to school with a baby shark because that's what he likes, but he doesn't want one. He wants 7. Well, so that's just asking for a meltdown for me.
Is it really 7 or is it?
No, he had 7 with him.
Yeah. And so I was wondering about this. So we have 7 in our family. Does he have a shark that represents everybody?
I think so.
That's what I was wondering.
So he had a basket of sharks.
But I don't
said you can pick one.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I don't want to tell him that though, because what if we lose these things sometimes? We lose these things.
I know.
If he were to lose one, and then associate it with his family, he would not eat, sleep, or anything until he found it. And that could be a tough day, week, or month. You know what I mean?
That's true, yeah. So I was worried about even doing this because it's asking for a meltdown, I feel like, on my end. Mm-hmm. So he didn't take one. He wanted all 7, so he left them in the car. So that transition, what they wanted me to do, did not work for me. And I don't know if you feel like this, but he will take a toy from the school if they let him, or a toy from his therapist. But when it's his own thing, he doesn't really want to take it inside the school. He wants to keep it in our car because it's our car.
Well, and I think, too, he's playing a little defense knowing that when he's going to get back in that car in several hours, he would like to know where that is.
Right.
He wants to leave it there for himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's a little tricky with sending him with his stuff.
I know. I mean, perfect world, it'd be great if they came out with a toy to welcome him to school, but they can't do it. There's not enough resources. And I get that. But that is... I am 99.8% positive that would actually do it. If every day he knew he was getting greeted with a new toy, something he could get curious about, experiment with, a new sight, a new texture, a new weight, a new sound, or whatever, I think that would do the trick. But that's just hard.
I know. And I want her to do that, and I doubt I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
And they won't let his ABA therapist in the building.
They haven't made that decision permanent, though, have they?
No,
but they won't respond.
Yes.
Yeah. See,
they're going very slow with the process.
If I were to run for the school board and get on, here's the thing. Not many people are going to like me that are either already on the board or a lot of these teachers, because we're going to have some really tough conversations about this stuff. There can't be a brick wall for communication. Like, you get this email, hey, if you say no and you've got reasons to say no, then just tell us. That's fine. We'll deal with it. Trust me, special needs families, we know how to react. We know how to pivot quickly and get on to the next thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
But just tell us. Just, you know what I mean? And you've probably already made up your mind. I'm imagining it's no, because if it was yes, why would you be waiting? You know what I mean? Just tell us. If I were to make it on there, we're going to have some pretty good conversation.
Well, even me asking for her cell phone number, I'm like, I am that parent that they're rolling their eyes about. Because I'm just keep pushing to get what I want. And they're probably like, oh my gosh, Cal's mom's at it again.
Yeah, that's okay. Yes, I think you're right.
But I'm fine with it. I have to fight for what I want for my child,
Sometimes you have to do the wrong thing for the right reason. I kind of live by that. I understand it. It sounds a little brash and hard at first, but like I said, 5 years ago, and if somebody were to come up and talk to me about special needs, I'd be like, dude, I can't relate. I have no idea what you're talking about. It's not my life. I'm not into it. Whatever. Right.
Right.
Now it's like, hey, pull up a chair. We can talk all day.
Well,
and it's just where you are in life. And so I'm not one of these guys where it's like, you have these advocates that they say they're advocates, and a lot of them are, and they do great work. Yet some of them, they really want other people to experience their life and their challenges, but they aren't associated with special needs and everything. And I don't believe in that. I'm not going to go and weigh somebody down with all of these problems and issues. This is hard stuff. And if you don't have to go through it, don't. You know what I mean?
It's very hard.
Yeah.
I mean, every day's unpredictable. And I think that's where the stress sets in. And you were just talking about how you looked older. I just noticed yesterday I do. I mean,
oh yeah. Don't do what I did and go through your Instagram and scroll down like 10 times, because you'll be back in like 2017, 2018, 2019, and you'll be like, it was only a couple of years ago. Like, oh, look, I was in high school. It's gone.
Well.
Oh well. Hey.
It is what it is.
We are here on this rock, which is spinning through the solar system. We're made of stardust. To stardust will return. And, we're just here doing what we're doing. So, yeah. At the same time, you can't overthink this thing. Like, we are right now, this planet is screaming through the galaxy at like 1,000,000 miles an hour, right?
Right.
And it's madness. Everything's madness. There's stars, there's comets, there's volcanoes, there's earthquakes. I mean, the whole thing's crazy. And so you just got to do what you got to do.
Well, I just figure if I have all the other kids' cell phone numbers, like teachers, then what's the problem for me to ask for hers?
Well, I don't think it's a problem to ask. I think you did the right thing. And I know you're not the only parent that's done that. You're right. I sent a letter. People made fun of me for doing this. I don't care. To Governor DeSantis about extending the $1,000 teacher bonus for this year for the teachers. And he did it. He just revised it in late December to make it part of the budget. And part of the reason with that was with coronavirus, parents and teachers, well, even some students had to start communicating with teachers on their cell phones and iPads. Well, the teachers have to pay for that service, your phone service, your iPhone and everything. They have to pay for that out of their own pocket.
Yeah.
Right? So I was like, extend the $1,000. At least that would help offset some of the bills for that, because they are using it to work. A lot of teachers use their cell phone to work now, and they should be compensated for that.
Yeah, that's nice.
And he did it. He built it back in for this year.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's awesome.
I think it's great. So my point is that I don't know that teachers should be as concerned or as protective of their cell phone number. You still have to be reasonable. I mean, you can't be texting people at 11 o'clock at night about things. But at the same time, I think teachers, should be a little more reasonable. Not all of them, most are, but about, the access to them, because part of this bonus, is to offset some of these things. So I think it's good.
I think it's good too.
Yeah. And two, I think it makes teachers at the end, I think it makes your job easier, because do you really want parents coming in and scheduling meetings with you, sit down face to face? Because here's the thing, they're all going to be late. It's probably going to get a little uncomfortable. And then you got, coronavirus. Do you want people, if you can limit people sitting in your room with you, adults, and you don't know where they've been, if that's a concern for you, then you're going to have the whole mask issue. Do you want these people to wear masks? It's just, hey, here's my number. Text me. Just text me reasonably. Text me. Let's be reasonable. We will work this out. So I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I think with the ABA therapists in the schools, though, they're used to dragging their feet.
Yeah.
They're used to it.
Yeah.
It's a process. It's planned out.
Or it's not.
Well, I just think that if they can push you off, they will. That's why I'm just going to be the annoying parent, which that's fine.
But you have to go to bed and say, hey, I tried. Like, we posted a meme the other day. It's like, you have a diagnosis and you have a therapist, you're already moving in the right direction.
Yeah. Which is true.
Yeah. Like, believe it or not, it may not seem like it day to day, but your motion is going in the right way, the positive way. You're not on that desert island anymore, or if you are, you can at least see the rescue ship in the distance coming with food and water. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, like you're already, like the beacon of help is lighting up. So like you asking for this, you've asked, you've put it in motion, and maybe she'll say, yes, absolutely. I would love to spend time with Cal, or I don't know, maybe she'll offer another solution. Who knows? Maybe this was the 15th email she got this year like that, and she's going to call somebody up and go, hey, we need more resources. I have another parent that needs my cell phone number. Send help.
I will say that I have several clients as teachers, and they say they need help.
They need help.
They need it. They want it. It's just, it never gets done because of the school board.
It's because, it's here. Yes and no. Yes, because the school board are full of morons who don't know how to fundraise. They don't know how to make money. They beg you for their campaign donations. Somebody sent me a clip yesterday of a candidate running for a school board. This woman has no business in politics of any point. She said, I'm going to spend the first year looking at the budget. The year? You're going to spend 12 months bilking taxpayers out of $50,000 to review the budget? Lady, you can do this in a day. Stop it.
Oh, my.
It's terrible. These are the kind of people you have, And so, yes, the teachers need resources, but you get these talking heads up there just repeating. They say the same things over and over. They just use a few different words at the beginning and at the end to get your vote, but it's the same. It's really embarrassing. Meanwhile, these teachers, they need more money, they need more resources, and they need more money. They are the most uncreative people in these school boards, and the special needs community suffers the most. They suffer the absolute most. And then people say, well, why do you say that? Like, that sounds like you're a victim. No, it's a fact. Because here's the thing. Other kids can adjust. They can make an adjustment. If there's a textbook or a program they don't have, you know what? They're going to figure it out. But special needs, it could be the difference between a child never progressing anymore after that grade or after that curriculum ever again if they don't get what they need. That's the difference. Like, if you're an 8th grader and you start falling behind, by the middle of 9th grade, you could catch up and even excel beyond. You know what I mean?
Well, I talked to a mom at a charter, private school where you can get scholarships to go, a special needs school. And I told her the school that I was at and the problems I was having. And she said my son was at that school and he was set back so much. Finally, when we started at this new school, he was able to progress again.
Yeah.
But he was really set back.
And if you're
special, and that's scary.
It's scary because this is what I'm talking about. You don't always recover if you're special needs. You can talk to anybody. That doesn't mean you're going to catch back up. Other kids without these disabilities, oh God.
That's what it is, though.
I know. People just freak out. They can catch up. They can excel. Like, I remember times in school where I was I think 9th or 10th grade, I was so, I had D's. I hated school, whatever. By the end of my junior year, I was completely caught up and I was doing college level stuff. I don't even know what happened. I think you're just developmentally, most humans, we're just able to, it clicks and you move on.
Right.
But that's not what we have in the special needs curriculum.
Well, I will say, having
ESC, ASA, IEP.
Yeah. No, you said it wrong.
Oh.
ASD.
Oh, what did I say?
ASA.
Oh, what's that?
Nothing.
See, now I'm making my own stuff up.
I will say, having 4 other kids that are just typical kids, I've never cared about this stuff. I care now because I'm going through it.
Why would you?
I know,
yeah.
But that's what
I
these
agree.
Other candidates possibly they don't have special needs kids, so they're just hearing what people have to say. But unless you're living it, it's a completely different world.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, and I'm not saying it's because of me, but I am saying it's partly because of me. There are other candidates now. Here's the thing, though. It's going to backfire. They're now adding in ESC. They're adding it into their talking points. But what it's actually doing, because I've heard other special needs, it's actually pissing off special needs parents. Because they're saying, oh, now you're just adding this in. You find this little place to add it in so you can check the box.
And do they even know what it means?
No. They say, I've sat down and spent time with it. Stop. We already know what they need. Stop sitting down and spending time. That's called wasting time. Spending is wasting. because there's no return on the investment. You know what I mean? There is one candidate, Kim Works, I think is her name. Now, this is Pinellas County, so, this is it's a county, election. This isn't like a statewide or anything. But I've just read briefly on her, has experience, has taught ESE, I believe has a child with autism. I think. I just was I got to do more research. But she doesn't create enough content. Like, she just doesn't. These candidates suck. I mean, they don't do anything. They just want to take our tax money. When you pay your property taxes, people don't understand this. When you pay your property taxes, and if you're special needs or somebody that's special needs and they go to a public school, I hope you take this part of the podcast and send it to them. And you pay those property taxes, which are outrageous. Property taxes are through the roof now.
Yes.
Whether it's built into your mortgage and you're paying monthly or you pay the one-time sucker punch, that is how these schools get funded. Like, that is where this is all going. This is your money. Some people say, well, it's just taxes. No, it's not going to the grocery store and paying your taxes. This is how it comes. It's your money that you pay to the government. So you got to care about it. And you got to care about these people that spend the money.
Right, yeah.
It's crazy.
And what's the budget?
Well, for Pinellas County, they operate with an overall budget of like $1.6 billion. Could you ever have imagined it was $1 billion budget to run a school board, a school system?
That's insane.
It's insane.
That's a lot of money.
It's just going to keep going up. We're going to be at $2 billion very soon. $2 billion.
And nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed.
I mean, I'm only saying nothing's changed because you hear from special needs parents all the time that nothing has changed. And you hear from teachers, nothing's changed. And the teachers even want the help. And everyone says the school board is an issue. And this isn't just our county and our state. I mean, it's everywhere.
Well, it's everywhere. And part of the problem with the school board is all the national attention. They're focusing on these issues that where we are, they really aren't issues. Yes, there's like one or two books that are very questionable and they need to be looked at. But a lot of these school board candidates now, they're running on what, CNN tells them to do or what Fox News tells them to do. This is a community local election. And so when these clowns start repeating that stuff that they hear on cable TV at 10 o'clock at night, the problem is that it takes special needs off the table because those television hosts don't care about special needs in local communities. Why should they? It's not going to make them any money by doing it. I wouldn't do it either if I were them.
Yeah.
So it's time to get serious about local, and these candidates that are now starting to pivot and just include special needs, autism, whatever, they're doing it because I am making a big deal about it. They hear it locally in the social channels, but it's actually coming off as very non-authentic. You're just throwing it in there, and that's not going to fly. It's not going to fly. Just admit it's not really part of your campaign or whatever clown show you're running. You don't know a lot about. It's fine. Like if they were smart, they would say, this guy, Mark, he may jump in and he's really got some ideas on how to increase funding, especially for ESE. He's really got some ideas. It's not really my lane. I'm good in this other things, but they want to be a one size fits all. They want to say, no, I've got that check. I've got this check. I've got that check. I've got that check. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They want to do all that stuff. And I'm sort of like, yeah, you're doing this wrong. Like you are really doing this wrong, but you're thinning yourself out. You know what I mean? You're thinning yourself out. And special needs, I'm telling you, that is one segment you are not going to fool special needs families. You're just not. We put up with it all day. You're not. You know what I mean? Like we are not. You can't take special needs families for a ride. You can't do it. We get up with this crap. We live with it. You know.
Well,
what I mean?
If that's one of the biggest issues, and having 4 other kids in school, one's 14 years old, and I've never heard of a behavioral specialist in a school. I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
I've never heard of an ABA therapist until I had to hire one. You know what I mean?
I know, man.
So like these people don't know what they're talking about. They really don't.
Thought somebody broke into our house.
Oh, Tyler woke up late.
This is his first day he slept in, didn't he?
Yeah.
Dag.
Got to take him to school late.
Not bad. He made it all the way to January in high school before sleeping in.
Yeah.
I was maybe second week school.
They do have to wake up early.
He doesn't want to pop in, does he? He doesn't want to take the credit. He had a big workout yesterday and jiu-jitsu, so I know physically he was beat.
Yeah.
I know he was beat down.
Anyways, ABA, ASD, all this stuff, you don't know what that means until you're dealing with it. you know?
Yeah, and by the way, and I don't hold that against any, like, I'm never going to be, like, well, it is kids. He's got a normal family. He doesn't know anything about what I'm going through. No, yeah, right, he shouldn't, and neither did I when I didn't have to go through it. But then you have to go through it because that's your job, and if you care about your kids, it's what you have to do. Like, you have to go through it, right? So I don't want to make it like everybody else's problems because it's not, and that's not fair.
But if I could keep him in a public school and the school had what they needed, I would keep him there. And I want to keep him there,
I like where he goes. I really like a lot of the staff there. And he's come to grow with a lot of the staff there. A couple of the staff, at least, he's really grown to, like, cling to.
Well, I also like that he could possibly not return, but possibly transition into a blended classroom, which is regular gen ed kids,
right,
and special needs kids.
Yeah,
it's blended, and he goes to a different elementary school than our other kids.
I gotta write this down.
But he could have the option to go with the other kids if he continued to grow.
Blended. That's a new term I'll write down. And gen ed, new one. They got all these terms that we got to keep up with. It's just I'll write this down.
I know.
But yeah, he could integrate into that capacity, which would be good because then he would be watching other kids that don't have some of the challenges he has, and then there is a chance he can pick up on those habits. It's reinforcement, it's insulation. It's you say you're a product of your environment, not 100%, but yes, your environment really helps bring you to a certain point. So it would be good if he saw other kids that didn't have the challenges he did, because some of the challenges that he has, like a lot of autistic kids, he makes the choice to have that challenge. He doesn't necessarily have to. Not all, but some. You know what I mean?
No,
like
I don't
he
know
doesn't
what you mean.
have to bite his arm to feel the magnitude of that situation. Like he does it because that's what he believes will get the biggest feeling. Get what I'm saying? But if he were to watch other kids that didn't do it, there's a chance he would say, oh yeah, nobody bites their arms anymore, and I can sort of learn to, because if you tell him no bite, he'll stop.
Well, he needs it for the sensation.
Yeah.
But part of like him being in a blended classroom, like you just said, I was struggling with because he has siblings, typical sibling, kids. I want to say normal, okay? I mean, I don't feel
normal.
bad about it.
It's fine.
He has normal siblings, and he doesn't see them do those things. So I believe if he's around other kids, then he won't. And what stabs me in the heart the most was when I was going through this process, and I thought he was going to get into 3-year-old's class at our kids' elementary school, but I realized then that he's on a different level, because he can't even go to that blended classroom. He has to be at a different school in a smaller ASD class program. He has to be with 7 kids instead of in a classroom with 20 kids that are blended, but he has the capability to do it, after being in school for a year.
Maybe one day. Yeah. Down the road. Yeah. Just because you say normal or typical, it doesn't mean that those kids don't cause us a lot of problems and challenges. Let me tell you, we got a couple. It's a daily battle for other different reasons.
Yeah.
Like, bad attitudes, aggression if they can't do what they want, when they want to do it, fighting with each other. I mean, by no means is it like, I don't know. I was like, I don't want to come off that life is perfect, with the 4 kids, and then he comes along. That's not it. They're different challenges. I mean, he has a much... his disposition, he gets up every day. He's really happy. He's really sweet. He wants to give you a hug in the morning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, as the day goes on, things can really affect him at a greater magnitude than other things. But we've got a couple kids that wake up and it's like, oh my God, like they're at it. They're fighting. It's,
right.
You know what I mean? It's like they're mad at, like today, the girls' football practice got canceled. They're in a bad mood about it. It's raining.
Yeah, they're mad at us because their football practice got canceled.
Yeah, they were rolling their eyes at me this morning. I was like, the coach canceled it. It is pouring rain. There will be no football practice. Well, whatever. You're mad at it. It's raining.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Just got to shake it off. I just want to say one more thing about the blended classroom. So at his school right now, they have a blended classroom. They had an IEP meeting with me about transitioning him. And I said my reasons why I wanted to transition him, because they told me that he's really able to if he just complied with certain things, Well, he's not going to do that without the one-on-one attention, you know? So
we'll get him a shirt that says, I will not comply.
No, but they basically told me he was ready and he could if he just would listen during certain transitions.
Yeah,
and I'm like, well, maybe if you put him in a blended classroom, he would listen.
Yeah,
but you're not giving him the one-on-one support he needs to be able to do that.
I know. But when they say if he would just listen, I'm like, okay, but see, that's why we're here to begin with. Like, it's just not that easy. But I understand why they want to make it that easy. They want him to do better. And maybe they see it in him that he can, and so it's frustrating. And everybody in this situation is frustrated. But it's like as soon as I hear people say, "Well, if he would just listen, if he just," I'm like, I know, but that is why we're here. Like,
but guess what? Since that meeting, nothing's changed because he doesn't have the one-on-one support he needs. So
I know
it was worth it.
We're asking a lot of the public system, though. I will just, and I'm trying to be fair. We're asking a lot of the public system based on what they have to work with. We really are, and that's why a lot of special needs are pulling out of public schools. Families, they're pulling out.
Yeah.
Because they're like, I'm sorry. There's, like right now, especially with the Pinellas County School Board and the candidates, because it's almost like, I wish I could say, hey, there's these great candidates. There's a new crop coming in. No, they're worse. I mean, the light at the end of the tunnel is in fact right now a train. And that's the problem. Well, so if you have a young special needs child like we do, he's 4. Okay. We're looking at like another 14 years in the education system.
Like, I know.
Broken, cracking, leaking, you know what I mean? Getting split apart another decade and a half. Man, that's ugly.
And you see all these different sides of it, and you're being fair because you do all this research and you understand all of it.
God, you've never called me fair before. I like it.
But me, I'm like getting fired up. I'm like the mama bear that's trying to make sure everything's fine for her kid. So you have a lot of women like me that are out there that aren't getting what they want.
I agree.
But it's good that you're being fair and calm and you know all the different sides of it, you know?
Well,
but I am really starting to get irritated.
Well,
and he's not even in kindergarten yet.
Can't fall into the trap because all these people with the school boards over the last couple of years and for different reasons and for, national political reasons, which I'm not going to get into and talk, but people showed up at these school boards. They got angry. They got arrested. They threw things. And honestly, it really didn't change anything, okay? You can't go in and play checkers in the middle of a chess match. There is a way to do this, and you can be forceful and you can be emotional, but you got to be smart. Once you take smart out of it, you've already lost. Like if you don't know the rules of the game, you won't win the game. There is a way to play and win this game. But showing up and human chaining yourself to the school board doors.
Well, I'm not that angry.
No, I know you're not. I know you're not.
But I do hear about some of those meetings.
I mean, people are being carried off in the paddy wagon.
Oh, God.
Like I saw a group of like 6 moms and they were yelling to their kids, call your dad, tell him to call the lawyer, bail us out. I'm like, see, this is not.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah, you don't need to be doing that. Like this is not smart. You're creating other problems for yourself and you get nothing done. You are going to be on the news for a minute, but and a lot of TikTok videos.
Yeah.
But, there's another way to, I try to balance it all. Like I can go in and find the weaknesses of these candidates and expose it. And I will. But at the same time, that you can't just do that. Because then people say, well, what is your plan? What are you actually going to get done? And I am like the only person in this crop of I think there's like 20 candidates now.
Wow.
Who has an actual original idea and talks about it. The rest of them say, hey, come meet me and give me money for my campaign. No, pound sand. You're going to, if you win, you're going to get my money. Your salary is taxpayer funded. I mean, how dumb do you think we are? You're going to get our money.
Yeah.
So you don't get it twice. You don't get the double dip. I'm not going to donate to your campaign so you can go buy a pen and a hat and a street sign just for you to get in and take more of my money. And by the way, you've offered me no ideas. So, it's just that, like you said, the special needs people, they're angry. It's a smoldering kind of a thing.
And it's always an issue.
The communication should be better, though, in the special needs community. I will say it's very bad. Some people reach out to me, like Pinellas special needs and parents, but it's like here and there. There's not a good bond. There's not a good unification. And maybe that's on me. Maybe I need to make it better. Maybe
they feel like nothing gets done, so they don't want to try anymore because they feel defeated.
They feel like they've never. I tell people this all the time. It's not that special needs families were forgotten. That's not the case, because you can't be forgotten when you were never even thought about to begin with. And so I think that they run and hide, they duck and hide, they put their head down, and they say, I just have to deal with this. I was dealt this hand and I just have to deal with it. And yes, if nothing gets done, that is what we'll have to do. We'll have to deal with it. Or maybe we should say, can we get noticed? Maybe we should just get noticed.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what we need.
You can't be forgotten if you were never noticed, right?
Yeah, so let's get noticed.
Right, so you get noticed.
Yeah. All right.
Good podcast. I wanted to get to Cal and the difference between, well, we'll just do it next time. But the difference between if you put a chicken nugget down in front of them, because I think this is really interesting.
Yeah.
And you were talking about words the other day. Cal, here's a chicken nugget. No. Oh, no, 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 no. All right. Fast forward the next day. Cal, here's a nugget. He'll eat them. But words and the literal meanings of, I'm not going to eat a chicken. You know, he sees chickens on his cartoons, on his YouTube videos, nice chickens, like fluffy chickens. You know, the chicken goes, bok, bok, bok. You know, we do the whole thing.
Right.
She's like, I'm not going to eat a chicken. They're nice. They're friends. They're my friends. But a nugget, I'll eat a nugget. I don't even know what that is. It looks pretty good. You made a great point the other day. If you say, wow, it's raining cats and dogs, he will run to the window and look up, expecting to see cats and dogs falling from the sky.
Yes. Like, autistic children are concrete thinkers.
Yeah. Don't. This is just the tease for the next episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You keep going. This is the tease. So we want to save some of our information to the next episode.
I got it. I didn't grow up in the radio industry like you.
Oh, you'd have sucked. You'd have just done you'd have done a year's worth of shows in one show, and then the rest of the year you'd have nothing to talk about.
That's true.
Yeah. The commercials would never play. You know, you would just keep going. The songs would never play. And
well, my job is to talk to people in my chair.
True.
So that's what happens too.
You did good. You did good. You get right to it. You just keep on going. All right, so back tomorrow with chickens, chicken nuggets, and cats and dogs falling from the sky.